Hey, Rebecca McGillicuddy, NoirArtist, and I just showed you how I created this background and maneuvered all of my uh, text and title around. I placed my lady in there, and now what I want to do is create the Azure planet rock that is all that is left. So I'm just adding in a few little extra color dodge spots here and there just to get a little bit of a shine, a little bit of glow. And then I'm going to get into working on this rock that is left over. Okay, here it is. I purchased this from Deposit Photo. You can see in the tab which image it is if you need to look it up. And now I am just taking the lasso and selecting the rock around it. I could use channels or color lookup to choose what colors to use and what not to use, but this is fine. I'm going to go around and make sure this is very tightly done. I'm going to use the settings to really get in tight and make sure that this rock is designed the way I want it. I'm going to go around it with a soft focus, or sorry, soft brush tip. You could use the blur on the mask if you would prefer. I went ahead, grabbed it, and took it over to the new tab, new picture released, and it dropped the rock into a layer within this document. Here I have maneuvered it using the Free Transform or Move tool, and I'm trying to decide where exactly my Lady Dragon is going to sit here on what is left of the Azure Moon. So once I have figured it out, I am going to duplicate the rock, see if it's exactly how I want it to be, and then I am going to go ahead and get rid of the duplicate, make this, after some refinement, a smart object. And then I'm going to take in the smart object, just refine it again, and then here is where I'm going to duplicate the rock and use it for the bottom. So I will do exactly the same. I'm going to adjust it. I'm going to use Free Transform and use my mask to alter this rock so that it blends exactly how I need it. I'm going to use the soft brush tip so that I can blur out the edges at the bottom so it looks like it's at a distance, keeping the top sharp, even though I am going to blur out the edges some there. Use the Free Transform or Move tool with Warp and just adjust a few things here and there, just so that it looks like a cohesive rock, honestly. And then I'm going to save it, and instead of coming out of it to save, I want to make adjustments, go back in, and then when I'm confident, I will get rid of it. And I'm going to go ahead and judge to see again how my Lady Dragon with her tail and her hands and everything sits. I'm going into curves on this layer so that I can get it to blend a little bit more into the colors that are behind it. This is a trick that I personally do. I honestly have not seen anybody else doing this trick, but what I'm going to do is get this into the color of the scheme that I want, and then I'm going to duplicate it and put the duplication over top of this. So here I'm just adjusting a few things using levels and just to bring some more of the depth in, using the blend if, and going to adjust with the underlying layer so that I can bring in some of the clouds that I have from the color dodge. Sorry, that just went out of my head again. Move around with the levels just a little bit more, along with uh, adjusting the curves so it's just working better with the looks. Checking her out, making sure she's not actually blending in too much with it. And I do feel like she is, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring in a duplicate of this and then go ahead and test out all of the blend modes so that I can have a little bit more depth in there with her on it. Check the blend modes again. And then I'm going to bring up the blend F, and I'm going to bring down some of the darkness, bring down some of the lights so that the underlying layer comes through. And then I have a little bit more definition on her. I'm just checking my thumbnail to see the size, make sure I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to go in, make everything into a group so that I don't have all of these files all over the place while I'm working. Now I'm going to bring in the rock one more time. Here I'm going to use the rock to do shadows. I'm using color burn, and doing it this way it allows me to keep texture without having to do a quote-unquote shadow layer where I'm having to paint in there. I want to keep a lot of the unique texture that's in this. So I'm using the transform tool and also using the warp aspect of it to move this around so that it looks like the shadows are coming in different areas. I'm going to use the mask with the brush tool and go in and soften all of the edges. So again, it looks more like a shadow in aspects and not a hard line. Go in and choose just whereabouts I want to do everything. Take a better look at it, see where she's landing so that the shadow is a little bit more accurate. I am very pleased so far. Stay tuned for more. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you can see how she transforms.